All right, so welcome to my Binance class. So whole this whole class is sponsored by Binance. So um, after after this class, I'm going to send a link so you can register. You can also become a part of a Binance. You can also become a Binance tutor. That's part of the campaign. Binance wants to educate lots of Africans on cryptocurrency. You give them crypto education. So apart from being a student for this class, by the time you go through the class and study, you can also become a tutor, and you stand a chance of earning up to $500 by being a Binance tutor. All right, so let's just get into the class. So this class is in two aspects. The first one is fundamentals of Bitcoin, blockchain, and Binance, and then the next one is crypto trading. That's where I'll show you how the Binance UI is for trading view. I'm going to show you how to use different tools. You know, you're going to learn how to use moving averages, how to draw trend lines, resistance and support, and all. Please, it's you. All right, so I'm going to show you how to use various platforms, various tools in trading. So the first one we do is fundamentals of Bitcoin trading. Right. So before we start, just move on. Right, hold on. Let's see how many of us are here. Right? So, okay. Please mute yourself when you come in. Please mute yourself when you come in. Please. All right. So let's start screen share. Okay, so a lot of you are most likely already know this, what Bitcoin is. So I'll just go over it next time. So I'm supposed to fill in something here, but I wasn't given access. Anyways, my name is Karla Obakpolor. You all know about me, maybe not all, but some persons. I've been in the blockchain space for a while now, and I'm today going to be showing you how to use cryptocurrency. I've used cryptocurrency in the past to trade, to do a lot of things, and it has actually also helped my financial health. So I'm going to teach you for free. This class has been organized, been sponsored by Remittance. I'm going to teach you what cryptocurrency is and how to trade it. So the first thing here is, what is money? A lot of us know what money is. It's basically a tool to exchange value. You know the history of money, how it started. It started with the barter system. Anything that was of value that we could use to exchange for other assets for money. And then, so we find out also that any object can be used as money. Any object at all can be used as money. And money is a shared belief system. What this means is, if all of us on this group decide that we can start using hand sanitizer as money, or a certain bead, certain maybe cowries, if we all decide that this is going to be our money, it will become like that. That's why it's a shared belief. It's like it's a representation of value that is shared amongst lots of people. So we have various types of money. We have the paper money, which is issued by the government, also called fiat. And then we have the legal tender that replaces gold and other commodities. And fiat money is all right. So the most common form of money we know today is fiat money. And these are the characters of fiat money. It's issued by the government. It's issued by the government. It's a legal tender. As per legally, it's accepted. Please mute yourself when you come in. Thank you. So it's legally accepted within a geographical region. Then it's portable and easy to use. You can carry it around. It is not scarce. That's we're going to go into this later. It is not scarce. Like the government can decide one day to print more monies, more supply of monies. So we don't know how many naira. This is naira because in Nigeria we don't know how many naira is in circulation today. So, and that's very important for economics. When we talk about Bitcoin, you understand that anyone can just issue an order and say, okay, let's print more naira and put it into the system. And that will cause inflation. So it's not scarce. It has no intrinsic value. Intrinsic value as per the naira that you have, what is being used to create it, it's not expensive. It's just paper. And then some print and some other things. So it doesn't have any intrinsic value. It's not backed by an asset or by something that has value. You get? So that's one of these are the characters of fiat money. Now let's talk about cryptocurrency. So we know what fiat money is. Now let's look at cryptocurrency. What is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is a digital form of money. It is digital. Fiat is physical. Cryptocurrency is digital. It is protected by cryptography. It's one. It cannot be duplicated or destroyed. This is very important. It's when creating cryptocurrencies, when you read about cryptocurrencies, you find out there's something called the problem of double spending. The thing is, if something is done digitally, you can easily copy and paste it. So if I have a digital money, what are the chances that I'll be able to just copy and paste it and send to a lot of people? That can happen with cryptocurrency because it is protected by cryptography. Cryptography prevents that from happening, and that helps that digital form of money gain some sort of value because now scarcity is introduced into it. Let's continue. So it can be duplicated or destroyed. Yes, it is a distributed. Please mute yourself when you come in. Please mute yourself.
They're very wicked.
I just make a number. Not me, tell you to remain 1 more. I'll pin it to me. Now me get your ash. Remain 5 more.
Please mute yourself, please. Thank you so much. Please mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, so I said, yeah, it's distributed, open source. That is, I can own it. Like I can send money to you without having to go through an intermediary. There's no middleman. So it is peer-to-peer. P2P means peer-to-peer. That's from me to you directly. Nobody has to be an intermediary between the both of us to collect it, to transfer funds, or to own it. Mute 2. Please mute yourself when you come in. I think I'll just send this message. All right, so that's for that, and then it's borderless. I can send money. I can send Bitcoin to somebody in the US if that's having to break through the borders of country's economic system and stuff. I can just take my phone, open my wallet, and then send money to whoever sent me their wallet addresses without having to contact the government or sign some sort of forms or whatever. So it's borderless. All right. And then again, Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency. Again, there are lots of other cryptocurrencies in the world, but Bitcoin came first, and that's one of the reasons why it has more traction than others. Why it seems like a lot of other cryptocurrencies are traded against it. It's transparent. I can know how many Bitcoin is in the world at this moment. I can know how many Bitcoin is in circulation. As opposed to fiat, here the government can come and print anything. It's transparent. I can know how many Bitcoin will ever exist in the world, and that's 21 million Bitcoin. It's scarce. The technology of crypto is this: you make supply constant, and then any other thing can change. Supply is always constant. So only 21 million Bitcoin will be in the world. Then the demand can change, and then the price can change. For our fiat, supply is not constant. Supply can be reduced and increased depending on what the government wants to do at that point. But for cryptocurrencies, supply is constant. So you have a fixed supply, and then demand and price can always change. What our fiat does is the three are variables, like supply can change, demand can change, and the price can change. But for cryptocurrencies, supply is constant, and that really affects that's one of the reasons why you find that prices can go up and prices can come down. Then the next thing is it's open source. Yeah, I've talked about this before, and it's censorship resistant. No government can come and say, let's print more Bitcoins. No, it doesn't work like that. It's a process to mining Bitcoins. It's a process to making sure that BTC is available for circulation. Right? Then, who created Bitcoin? I'm sure you've heard of Satoshi Nakamoto. A lot of us don't really know who he is. We don't know if it's a person, if it's a group of persons, if it's a male or female. We just don't know. We just know that this person is a computer scientist, and then he created a blockchain technology, and he solved the problem of double spending. Double spending is if a digital asset exists, somebody can easily copy and paste it, and send to other people. But cryptography, so he was able to find that out, to discover how to solve that problem, and then he launched Bitcoin. I don't like keep saying he. Satoshi Nakamoto launched Bitcoin in 2009, and since then has disappeared from the space. So all the developments we see on cryptocurrency, on blockchain, started here, right? Then let's talk about blockchain. Now, blockchain is a distributed database. I'm pretty sure you've heard people say data is life, and I'm not talking about internet data. I'm talking of information. So I know something, some other persons know something, and that information can affect how we make decisions, can affect how we live life, basically. Now imagine a database that's a place that holds all this information and makes that available to everyone. Now imagine that information is information on transactions, on assets. Now it's distributed. So blockchain is a distributed database. Everyone can have access to information on the blockchain network as long as they are connected to the blockchain network. Right? Imagine, I don't know if you've used Google Docs before, if you've used Google Docs before, you can find out that I can be here and edit a document and send to you wherever you are, and we both can see that document live. We can both also make comments or edit that document live. That's something of what blockchain is. So it enables transactions, distributed ledger, enables transactions to be seen across the world, regardless of the location of anybody, as long as that person is connected to the blockchain network. All right, so blockchain, so what is blockchain? Money, documents, all sorts of digital data. Anything can be stored on a blockchain network. Anything. If you're in Nigeria, I'm pretty sure you've heard of how we said we can actually implement our voting system into blockchain. That's because blockchain is not just for cryptocurrencies. Blockchain is not just for cryptocurrencies. Blockchain is anything that can be represented as data, can be stored in blockchain, whether it's an asset, land, whether it's information, or records. So you can have money stored in the blockchain network, documents, and all sorts of digital data. It has to be digital, basically. And it's a tamper-proof system, meaning no one can hack it, no one can just go in there and anonymously change the data. Okay, so I've said it's a distributed database. Yes, it's a chain of linked blocks. So imagine each block is a store of information, and it's connected to all the stores of information, other blocks. It's a chain of linked blocks. It's a special type of ledger. Ledgers are used to record transactions, whether that transaction be how much you sent today, or that transaction be Karla just imputed something on the blockchain. It's a special type of ledger, storing transactions. All right, next. I said, what is blockchain? You can see here, I don't know if you can see my mouse. You can see here that these things that look like clipboard or papers are like, okay, different set of information or transactions, and they are linked together. I think some persons. Let me check the chat functions. Okay, SOE. Please dial in audio because everyone else can hear me. So it might be from your device. Alright, let's continue. Alright, so what is blockchain? On the blockchain network, the participants don't need to trust each other. It means that everyone can keep track of balances and transactions. If someone tries to cheat the system by maybe altering information on the blockchain network, the other blocks will reject that information. You get? Sorry? This person. Okay, so Bitcoin is a digital currency, and then blockchain is a distributed database. Bitcoin is possible because of the blockchain technology. You get? That doesn't mean that the blockchain technology can only do cryptocurrencies, can do a lot of other things. So Bitcoin is a digital currency, and blockchain is a distributed database. Bitcoin is a financial asset. Now, I can just give you 3 characters of Bitcoin and also other cryptocurrencies. Number 1, they are a currency. Just like you can pay for goods and services using a currency, you can pay for goods and services using cryptocurrencies. Number 2 is they are a commodity. You can trade them, which we look at in the second aspect of this class. You can trade cryptocurrencies, you get, because they are also a commodity. And then number 3 is they are an asset. It means that you can hold them for a long period of time and they can gain value. For example, when Bitcoin started in 2009, it wasn't up to $1. Today, Bitcoin is above $12,000. You get? Now, imagine you had Bitcoin in 2009. Today, you have over $12,000 in your portfolio. Then, so, okay, I've said they're a currency, they're a commodity, and they're an asset. Just like lands increase in value, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin increases in value. Now, Bitcoin is the first and most popular cryptocurrency. You get? It's the first and most popular because it came first. And then I said here on blockchain records information is any kind of digital data. Basically, you can record information of any kind of digital data. And blockchain has several use cases. And there are various ways to build on the blockchain network. If you're someone who knows how to program, you will be able to build on the blockchain network. And then it is a digital ledger. And I said, please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves when you come. It's a digital ledger. And then Bitcoin, I said, it's an open source code, computer software, and it's public and decentralized. Decentralized means that it's open to everyone. Okay. Then Bitcoin versus fiat money. Okay, sorry. Right. So we've talked about this. Decentralized is peer-to-peer. I don't need to send. This is how fiat money works. So you go to your bank and you deposit cash, right? To send to someone else or you do a transfer. However, you're going to put it, there's a centralized body, which is your bank, holding those funds. So when you're doing a transfer to someone else's account, it goes to their centralized system. So I'm sending money from my GT account to someone's Zenith bank. It leaves my GT account, which is not actually mine because they can decide to close it if something happens. And then goes to that person's Zenith bank account. There's a central system of storing that money. But for Bitcoin, it's decentralized. It is stored on the network. Triggered on Bitcoin network, on Bitcoin blockchain, sorry. Now it's peer-to-peer. Because it is decentralized and on the Bitcoin blockchain, anybody who's on the Bitcoin blockchain can receive money from you directly without a middleman. It is scarce, yes, controlled, and has limited supply. It is irreversible. The transactions are irreversible. It is fast and cheap. It's faster than, I'm pretty sure you've had, I won't talk about fast, not just look at the local aspect of it. You can also look at the international aspect. If you wanted to send money to someone in the US, if you've ever received money from maybe a parent or a loved one in the US, you know that it takes a while, it takes some time before it gets to you. And it's quite expensive because if you're sending $200 to someone, the person will probably receive $180 because they can't take their fees. But on Bitcoin, it is fast and cheap. You can get it instantly, and the fees are not as expensive as our banks. And then it is censorship resistant. Okay? You can't just go and change the data, change the information of a transaction. So fiat money is centralized and controlled by government. It's not scarce. There's unlimited supply. I'm pretty sure you've seen movies where they are printing money. Very, 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 very simple ones. That's a very interesting series. So you can see where the government can control it. It's not scarce. It's unlimited. The supply is unlimited. You can just go, not like you, Sha, but the government can just go and print a certain amount and inject it into the public, into society, and that affects the financial system of the country. Unlimited supply, chargebacks, and then it's inefficient. For everything, for any transaction, you always get charged for sending money, for receiving money. There's always a charge, and it's quite expensive. You're charged to maintain your card, you're charged to receive transaction alerts. Yeah. So that can be tiring and expensive. And then it's inefficient. So if I want to send money to someone in the US, I need to convert my naira to dollar first. And that takes another charge. And then send to the person. That will take another charge. They'll charge me also for first converting my naira to dollar. And then the person receiving money. Because I need to unmute some. I need to mute some. See? Alright. Okay, then, so for blockchain transfer, you get, let's say someone is called Alice. Alice sent $200 to the blockchain, the BTC blockchain, and the charge is $1. Again, and then this decentralized system here sends the money to Bob. So $199, $1 off $200. You get. So the fees. Hold on. No. Right. So the fee here is. Oh, I went for exam. Okay, let me start with back transfer. So if someone was sending, and this has happened to me a lot for now, I wouldn't want to mention the names of some intermediaries I've used to send money. They never receive, the fees are just terrible. So Alice wants to send money to Bob. Let's say she's sending $200. It has to go to the bank will collect like $14. I've seen situations where it's way more than $14. And then Bob receives $156. Not fair. The fees are like 7%. Not cool. Processing time is 3 working days. Whereas in a blockchain transfer, $200, I'm sending $200 to someone in, let's say, the US, in Nigeria. The blockchain is going to take, that's the Bitcoin blockchain. The fee that will be deducted is most likely $1. Sometimes 0. something dollar. So I've seen 50 cents. I've seen 20 cents also. So here $1, and then Bob gets $199. The fees are like 0.5% of the money, and then the processing time is between 30 to 90 minutes. I've even seen 10 minutes. I've seen 1 minute, 2 minutes. You get, so it's way faster than centralized banking systems. All right, so let's talk about cryptocurrency wallets. A lot of you most likely already know this. Please mute yourselves when you come. Please mute yourselves. All right, a lot of us already know this. A lot of us already know about using wallets. All right, a lot of us already know about using wallet systems, like wallets to hold your cryptos. All right. So your wallets are like tools that you can use to interact with blockchain network. Basically, you see what I'm saying. Cryptos. Now they can be divided into 3 main groups. There are software wallets. No, not that. There are web wallets. If you know MetaMask, you can send that to web wallet, web or desktop wallet. And then there are mobile wallets, like Trust wallets, owned by Binance, Trust wallets. There are hardware wallets, and there are paper wallets. Paper wallets is basically, say you have Trust wallets, and then you copy your private keys and keep them somewhere safe. You copy them to a paper. Because if you don't have your private keys, if you don't own your private keys, if you don't have the private keys to any wallets, you can't access them. So let's say I download Trust wallets today, and I'm using Trust wallets. When you're creating the wallet, it tells you to save your private keys. So if I take those private keys and write them in a book and save them, that's like a paper wallet. Do you understand? So then there are mobile wallets. Same thing. Let's say I'm using Trust wallets, and Trust wallets is a mobile wallet. You get. Then there are desktop wallets. I'll give an example. MetaMask. And then there are hardware wallets. Hardware wallets are wallets that are used off the internet. They're not connected to the internet. So we have hot wallets, which are software wallets, and then we have cold wallets. These are paper wallets and hardware wallets. So let's say I have $20,000 saved in my Trust wallet, and I want to leave that to my child, as a will. So let's say when he's like 10 years from now, so 10 years from now, I'll give him that wallet. So I can write the private keys of Trust wallet, save them in the paper, probably save that paper somewhere. Okay, so that's like paper. Maybe I'll install the Trust wallet for another device. So 10 years from now, I'm saying, okay, here, this is your, maybe one stack like so give me $20,000. So that's an example of paper wallet. It's called because it is not connected to the internet. Just that it is somewhere away from people, from the internet. Right. Then hot wallets, software wallets, web wallets, desktop wallet, mobile wallets. These ones are connected to the internet. All right, so I'll talk about blockchain use cases. I told you before that blockchain can be used for various activities, for various things. So you have remittance, supply chain, and healthcare. These are just a few of the things that blockchain can be used for. So other use cases are charity, decentralized finance. We've heard about this. We'll talk about this very soon. dApps, gaming, governance, identity management. This will take me a while to explain. But the Internet of Things also. So for identity management, let me give you a use case. So in Nigeria, we have NIMC cards, trying to save our national identity. If our government would decide to save our details on a blockchain network, identity reports or records on a blockchain network, it will prevent any hacker or anything happening in the future where someone can access their identity again. So that can be also used. Governance can be used. One of the blockchain use cases is governance. And a very good example is, let's say, voting. So we want to vote for a certain person. If a voting system is built on a blockchain network, anyone can vote and it cannot be hijacked or that can be doing still a ballot process. That cannot happen. All right. Okay. So next, let's talk about remittance, the blockchain use cases. So this is basically worldwide transfer of money. Anybody can send money from anywhere at all, and set the largest flow of funds into developing countries. So if I want to send money to another country, I wouldn't need to sweat or so, and it can make money easily accessible by those countries. Okay, sorry. All right, remittance. Now, blockchain remittance gives less intermediaries, and the more intermediaries there are, the more fees will be charged, which will also make it more expensive for people to transfer money, to send money. Lower fees and faster transactions. We've covered this already. Now, blockchain can be used in case of supply chain. Supply chain is a network of people and businesses creating and distributing products or services to get. So we can do this, we can actually do this, store our supply chain records, and also run our supply chain methods through blockchain. So blockchain supply chain, tamper-proof database, it's customizable. I think I wrote something on this called decentralized commerce. Maybe sometime later I'll send the link for us to look at. So tamper-proof database is customizable, secure, and transparent. If I have paid for a good, I can know how quickly these goods will get to me. I can know where they are being gotten from, where they are being bought from, and other information that are relevant to me getting my supplies. Less fraud. So if money is paid to get a product, I don't have to worry and ask whether the money has entered my account before I release the product. Since it's being done on the blockchain, it can be automated. Reduce labor and then reduce cost also. Then for healthcare, so for healthcare, the blockchain uses in healthcare, I can store I can store medical records, digitalize them and store them. Data can be easily erased or modified. I don't have to go take a paper and do the modification the way it's done in some of our hospitals. Centralized database. So once a database is centralized, it's very easy for anybody to hack and go away with all information or tamper with information there. Then, lack of transparency. The problem is that some of our healthcare healthcare institutions have is lack of transparency. I mean, you can't know whether someone is being given the right drug or maybe a surgery is being done by the right person. So you just hope in faith that okay, this person is being taken care of by the right are being given the right healthcare services. And when you talk about medical insurance, there are a lot of frauds here. There have been cases where people pay for medical insurance, and when it's time for them to need it, they can't find their records anymore. They're not in the system, suddenly not in the system anymore. So these are some of the problems with healthcare, um, like non-blockchain healthcare platforms. Now, in blockchain healthcare, you can customizable. Okay, blockchain healthcare is customizable, accessible, and transparent. You know, usually it's built on distributed private networks, like a distributed ledger. It's permission-based management. Your even though it's distributed, the people that might only be given access to, maybe upload some of their data and maybe hospital staff and patients, and that can actually be worked on. It prevents fraud, it protects against fraud. Who is this person? Right. It prevents the problem of fraud, especially during the issue of medical insurance. And then it also protects the data of whatever information is being uploaded on that blockchain, and it's interoperable. That means okay, yeah, it says easy for different networks to verify and exchange data. If 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 someone is using Ethereum network, and that person is using Bitcoin network, and that person is using Binance's blockchain network. Now, if I've put an information on a certain blockchain, regardless of the network they are on, they will be able to access this information. That's what we mean by interoperability of the blockchain. Okay, now, so let's get to decentralized finance. Before we start here, I'd like to give us some opportunity to ask questions. So if you have any questions, if you have any questions, you can just raise your hand so I can unmute you. Let me stop sharing screen at this point. So I can unmute you, and you can just raise your hands so I can unmute you and you can ask a question. Okay, does anybody have any question at the moment? Right. Okay, so what's your question? I've asked to unmute you so you can unmute yourself.
Okay, okay, my question here is, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, my question is, you talked about Ethereum blockchain network, Bitcoin blockchain network, and several other blockchain networks. So my question here is it that all of these networks are different blockchain networks, not like a particular blockchain network?
Yes, they are.
That's my first. So they are different blockchain networks.
Yes, they're different blockchain networks.
Not like a particular blockchain network where you have Ethereum, Bitcoin,
Everybody
and that.
on it. Yeah, they are different blockchain networks. The reason is because each block, I told you before that blockchain is a distributed ledger. So each blockchain needs to have their own record of transactions. So Bitcoin has its own record of transactions, Ethereum has theirs, Binance has theirs. Binance also has theirs. So these are various different blockchain networks.
Okay. No, now my second question is, how are transactions be confirmed in these blocks?
Okay.
Because it's since there are actually a group of blocks, in a network, like group of blocks in a particular network. So all of the group of blocks in a particular network forms the blockchain network. So how are these how these transactions confirmed in this blockchain network? Is it that, for example, maybe we have 5 persons a day, we are trying to send different amounts of bitcoins to different addresses at the same time, maybe not even at the same time also. So those these transactions, do they get confirmed one by one, or all of these transactions can be confirmed in a particular block?
Okay, first of all, we need to understand that it's not a human being like physically that does the full transaction. Blockchain is built on cryptography, based on cryptography. So there are mathematical computations that are put in place to confirm transactions. Do you understand?
Okay.
I'll explain better maybe towards the end of the class. If I start explaining now, we probably will not get to the trading aspect. So you can just hold that question for later.
All right.
Okay, so nobody has any other question? All right, nice. All right, let's go over to the next part. Okay, let's talk about decentralized finance. Just to make sure. So you've heard about DeFi. Some have researched, some have not researched. DeFi basically means decentralized finance. I've explained this before. I don't know if you listened. How system of finance is centralized. That's system of finance that is not blockchain. Our traditional system of finance is centralized. So if you want to borrow money, the other day I think I did a transaction in my bank, and when I went there, they said, "Oh, Karla, you can actually, apply for an overdraft in your account. The bank with them for a while, so they trust me enough. So money has been entering my account. So they're like, you can actually apply for an overdraft. Basically, I can take a loan with it, and that's kind of like what happens on decentralized finance. The only difference is that we don't have a bank in charge of it. It is purely controlled by blockchain technology. There's nobody who is. Please mute yourself when you come. Please mute yourself. There's nobody who is. There's nobody who is directly in charge and saying, okay, borrow this person money, don't borrow this person money, or this person money. If you go through the normal processes, if you go through the processes, you'll be able to lend and you'll be able to borrow. That's not the same. You'll be able to borrow people money and earn an interest and borrowing people money without a centralized body. So that's what DeFi is. Now, there are types of, said here, DEXs. DEXs means decentralized exchange. Binance is a centralized exchange. It means that you have to send the currency to Binance accounts, to your own Binance account to be able to trade. But in decentralized exchanges, all you need to do is connect your wallet to that decentralized exchange, or import your wallet to that decentralized exchange. Okay, let's move this person. I'm still here. So, I said benefits of DeFi, financial inclusion. Anyone can access decentralized finance packages. Let's call them packages or platforms. We've had situations in the banking system where they say, oh, like I'm pretty sure you've been in a situation where you want to borrow to do something. You know that you'll be able to pay back, within a certain period of time. But when you go to the bank, they're like, no, you can't do that. They have lots of processes involved. So, but for decentralized finance, that can't happen because it's decentralized. Anybody can apply. It's a financial inclusion. Same rules apply to everyone. There are people who don't even need to take a business plan to a bank, to get a loan. But there's some others they have to go through all the process. But in DeFi, it's not like that. The rules are stated, and anyone who follows those rules can have the benefits of DeFi. Now it has global access. If I'm in Nigeria, I can apply for a loan for a bank that's outside the country. But in decentralized finance, regardless of your location, you can access financial packages. Then it's private and permissionless. It's not public to everybody as far. If you don't follow the processes, you can't access the file. But it's permissionless because anyone can. Anyone who follows the processes can. Now it's non-custodial. You don't need a KYC. You don't need to, all you need to do is have the things that are required. And then we talk about liquidity. For those of you who's been trading on decentralized exchanges, you find out that you can actually have okay. You find out that to trade a certain currency, there has to be liquidity provided. Liquidity is basically, okay, let's say I want to buy BNB, smart chain BNB with another currency on a decentralized platform. Smart chain BNB has to be available for that thing to get. And then it's the same thing also for other decentralized finance packages. There has to be liquidity provided, meaning that, okay, people can go to these platforms and borrow according to their. Okay, I think I'll explain this later on. But just understand that liquidity means that money is available to be borrowed. There are times when the bank tells you, oh, we don't have, there's no cash at the moment to borrow some other things, economies in a certain way, whatever. But on decentralized finances, liquidity is available because other people are borrowing their money. They're putting their money into this thing so they can get an interest. So I have Ethereum or I have BNB, I have BNB Smart Chain, and let's say I have 1,000 of it. I can go and provide liquidity for a certain currency so that anybody who has that currency can borrow my BNB Smart Chain. And when they do, I'm going to earn an interest on that 1,000 BNB. It's almost the same thing as staking. All right, so I said issues, education. These are the benefits of DeFi, and then these are the issues. Number one is education. Some of you are probably hearing DeFi for the first time, and some of you are not. Some of you have educated yourself. Some have not educated themselves on DeFi, but yet they want to go into the DeFi trade. You have to understand what it is first and how it works. The next issue is scalability issues with Ethereum, high fees. So Ethereum, okay, let's say in September or August, there was a time when someone had to pay $1,000 in fees to buy a certain coin on a DeFi platform by Ethereum. So at this moment, the fees are quite high. Sometimes fees go as high as $100. Sometimes 10, depending on what's happening at that point on the blockchain network. So the main issue now for accessing DeFi solutions are fees. And that's why you should also look at, I think you should also, later on you can research on Binance Smart Chain to understand how Binance Smart Chain is different from this other blockchain, Ethereum blockchain. Fees on accessing DeFi solutions on Binance Smart Chain is quite cheap than Ethereum. All right, then the next thing is okay, user experience. Like if you make a mistake on a DeFi platform, it might not be reversible. It's not reversible. So you have to make sure that you understand how to use it before you begin to use it.
When on Saturday. Okay, they go. No.
Thank you. All right. Last thing here is no secure industry standard. It's not. A lot of people have not gotten on this, so there's no secure way of doing it yet. So a lot of us are still dabbling our feet with the education we have. So this is one of the issues. If you don't educate yourself, you might make mistakes and lose money. And then another thing is it's not yet interoperable. DeFi solutions on Ethereum cannot be accessed by DeFi solutions on Binance Smart Chain yet. So it's not yet interoperable. Okay. All right, let's go next. Now let's talk about Binance. We talked about blockchain. We talked about Bitcoin. We talked about DeFi. Let's talk about Binance. Now, Binance is the world's leading blockchain. They are number one, basically. And it's the world's leading blockchain and cryptocurrency infrastructure provider. Now, note here, blockchain. Apart from having our own exchange, we are also a blockchain. It means that a lot of solutions that come with the blockchain technology can be built on the Binance blockchain. Binance is the world's leading blockchain and cryptocurrency infrastructure provider with a financial product suite that includes the largest digital asset exchange platform. What this simply means is a lot of cryptocurrencies are traded on Binance, so we have a lot of volume in digital assets. You get. So we're trusted by millions worldwide. We're dedicated to increasing the freedom of money for users. It is. Who is this person? Okay.
Guys, please mute your mics, please.
Okay, so back here. Right. So here it says we are dedicated to increasing the freedom of money for users. This is the reason why we always find that Binance is having one masterclass somewhere, or having what Binance wants to do is basically get everyone to understand the currency and know how to trade it. Because from the things that were said, if you understand how to trade cryptocurrency, you can actually become financially independent. Okay, so we are dedicated to increasing the freedom of money for users and features an unmatched portfolio of crypto products and offerings. We talked about this before. Lots of cryptocurrencies are traded on the platform. All right, so this is one of the vision, freedom. Our vision is to increase the freedom of money globally. Okay? We believe that by spreading this freedom, we can significantly improve lives around the world. We've heard of this term, money answered on things. You get so if a lot of people, globally understand how to use this new sort of money and can make money for themselves through trading this decentralized form, it can also improve their lives. All right, so when Bitcoin started, it took them like 42 days to become number 10 in the world. That's number 10 exchange, and then it took them 92 days to become number 5 exchange, and then 3 days to become. So on day 156, it took them 156 days to become number 3 exchange in the world, and then now they are the number 1 exchange, and they did that in 5 months, basically. So that gets to show you that Binance is not a Nigerian term, small boy, cryptocurrency, but doing a lot. All right, so Binance is global. We have users from over 180 countries, and then team members from over 40 countries and regions. And then we have that's people who speak other languages apart from English can access our interface. So over 15 languages on our interface. So when you can check on Binance Academy, you can find out that even if you don't speak English, you speak other languages. 15 of them are
Come buy Bible for your members. We have different.
So apart from English,
I say Bible for you. I said I'm for Bible
Hey, mute everybody, oh,
I'm doing that. I don't know what's doing that. Okay, I've talked about the language. Yep. All right. So over 15 languages on our platform. So if you don't speak English, so other language that you speak globally, you can access our platform and understand what we're saying. All right. Now this is the Binance ecosystem. This was done in June 2020. So this is Binance. We have spot and margin trade, futures, options trade. We have a mining pool, staking. You can get loans on Binance. We have a card. We have OTC as over the counter trade, peer-to-peer trade, fiat gateways. Sorry. So fiat gateways. I'm going to show you later on how to deposit Naira on Binance. By the way, you're supposed to, if you've not created your Binance account, I'm going to send this. Just take this thing. First. Let's come back here. Okay, so fiat, I was talking about fiat gateways and how that you can deposit Naira. You can deposit Naira or any other fiat currency in Binance. For South Africans, they can deposit the currency in ZA. For Europeans, if they're in Europe, you can actually deposit Euro. So we have gateways to collect fiat from countries. And then once you're able to deposit Naira, you can exchange it for other currencies. So I'm going to show you how to do it very soon. We're almost done with this slide. So in the meantime, if you haven't registered to get the Binance account, you can do so now. It's a chat entry. All right, let me do that here. So you can just quickly register for your Binance account right now. And another thing is that Binance is giving $5 in cryptocurrency to anyone who signs up, completes the KYC, and performs the trade. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Right, let me go back to sharing the screen. All right, we're almost done with this area. So you can look at this. I told you before that Trust Wallet is owned by Binance, right? So here we have this. So this is just our ecosystem. A lot of other things are coming up on Binance also. So best of both worlds, we have the lowest fees. Our fees are very cheap. I trade on Binance a lot, so I know this. Fees are really, really cheap. So and very fast, transact in seconds. I've done this too. You can attest to the fact that Binance transactions are very fast. And then you can deposit and withdraw conveniently. Do you know that you can even trade, make your profit, and withdraw those profits in Naira directly to your bank account? Just as you can deposit Naira to your Binance account, you can also withdraw Naira. So let's say you make a trade and you've made a profit of $100. You can actually use $100 to buy Naira and then withdraw it directly to your bank account, Binance. So it's very convenient, deposit and withdraw. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do this, how to deposit money, money, fiat, basically, Naira on Binance. So let me start sharing screen. So I'm going to my mobile now. I'm going to start sharing screen. Okay, let me stop this. So, all right, so this is my Binance account. It's easier to send money mobile using the Binance app. I'm also going to do the mobile one and the desktop. So let's just start with mobile. So here you have wallets, features trading. I don't know features trading. So let's go to trades. Here you have trades. Here you have the markets. Here you have home. Now you can come to this top part. You can come to this top part here. This is where your profile is. I can click here. So I can click here, and if I want to verify my account is already verified. But say you just started and you want to verify your account, you have to click your profile here, and then it takes you to identity verification. You can actually verify your Binance account with your BVN. You can do that with your BVN. So even if you don't have your driver's license or international ID or national ID or your passport, national passport, you can verify your account with your BVN number. So it's not showing that here because I'm already verified. So let me take you to the deposits area. So the first thing you do, is anyone following? If you're following, just let me know in the chat box if you are. Okay, you are. So if you're viewing this on your mobile phone, you can just minimize Zoom. Okay, you can do that. Okay, anyways, later this video will be up on YouTube, so I'll send you the link so you can follow these instructions. And then, by the way, please, you can quickly just go and send a tweet on. You can just send a tweet on Twitter right now. Let me send you the hashtags to use. So use my Binance class. So just tell me how the class is going and then tag me. And tag my Binance Africa. So Binance Africa. Please just send a tweet. You can actually do a screenshot and then send a tweet of how this class is going. So tag me, tag Binance Africa, and then use the hashtag my Binance class. All right, so let's continue. All right, here you can access the interface of Binance. But let's go to the trading to deposit aspect. So I'll go to wallets, right? At this top part, this is overview. This is spot. This is margin and futures. I usually don't do margin and futures trading, so always it's spot trading. It's closed. Okay, so sure. All right, so I want to deposit. I click on deposit. You can see deposit here. I click on deposit. I click on deposits. Just in case you couldn't see it. So I click on deposits. I know, thank you. Yes, I know, thank you. All right. So this is good. sorry about that. What is it? Someone just needs to tell me the net is back. Alright, so I click on then like deposit, right? Yes. Now I go to fiat. So we have crypto and we have fiat. If let's say I wanted to send BNB from the trust wallet here, that's if I wanted to send cryptocurrency, I'll come to BNB and just click on what blockchain. Remember this guy asked of how different blockchains are. If there are different blockchains, yes, there are different blockchains. Now we can see that this BNB is on BP2 blockchain, is on BP Smart Chain blockchain, is also on Ethereum blockchain. So if I was sending somebody, or if I wanted to deposit BNB to my Binance wallet, if the BNB I have is on Ethereum blockchain, I would send it, I would click ERC20, do it. But since we're not depositing people, let's go back here. So we're depositing fiat, and then I click on fiat. I'm seeing Nigerian naira, yep. There are other countries also, Australia dollar, Brazilian, euro, and all of them. So I just click on Nigerian naira and see what happens. So it's very easy. I can decide to deposit naira here. Let's say like select payment method, and I want to deposit naira. I'll just click on. I like doing bank transfers. I don't really do card. So bank transfer. Click on bank transfer. Bank transfer is what I click on, and then I increase the amount of naira I want to deposit. I can deposit as little as 1,000 naira to get. So another thing you can. The thing is that for every deposit I make, a fee of 150 naira is taken. So even if I was depositing 1 million naira, 100k, the fee will be 150 naira. If I was depositing 1 million naira, the fee will still be 150 naira. So you see when we talk about how the fees on doing it are very, very, very cheap. So let's say I want to deposit 1,000 naira. That's what I want to do. It means I'll get 850 naira. I can come here to continue. Click on continue, and this would appear. So all I need to do is copy this account number and make the transfer. When I do that, I just click I have made this bank transfer. Once that is done, Binance will take like 5 minutes. Basically, Flutterwave will take like 5 minutes to confirm. And another good thing is even when your bank transfers, when you do a transfer and it's slow, another good thing is Flutterwave will tell you to just hold on a minute. If the transaction goes through, you see the naira in. If it doesn't, you see the naira in your Binance account. If it doesn't, you still see it in your own bank account. And then once I do this, I click I have made the bank transfer, I Flutterwave confirms, Binance will send me a mail telling me my deposit has been successful. Now let's say I did that and the money goes through. It's gonna appear here. Come to spot. It's gonna appear here. Right now I just have 2 naira. It's going to appear here. This is where it will appear. I'll see it. Now let's say I've deposited naira and I want to buy Bitcoin. The simple thing to do is just, I go to trades. Let me show you what trades is. Okay. So this is where trade is. Here. This is where trade is. So I click on trades. I click on trades and I click here. This is where I click USDT Naira. It might not be USDT Naira that will be here. It might be something else. Alright, so I click on this place. This is where I go to search for the different marketplace. We won't talk about marketplace in the next class. So I can just type NGN and I see all the market pairs with Naira, right? Now I'm seeing BTC, I'm seeing Ethereum, so I can actually use Naira to buy Ethereum here. on Binance. I'm saying USDT Naira. I'm saying TRX, that's Tron. So I can buy BNB with Naira. I can buy 1,000 Naira worth of BNB. I can buy 1,000 Naira worth of Bitcoin. I can buy 1,000 Naira worth of Ethereum or Tron or even USDT. Okay. So let's say I want to buy BTC. I just click on BTC here. This is where it takes me to. Okay, so here I'm going to teach you about the market order and unit holding stop limit. So before we continue, is anyone following? Are you all following me? If you could just respond on the chat. Okay. Okay, all right, nice. So let's say I want to buy Bitcoin at the price. Right now, we can see that Bitcoin is at 5,130,276 naira. That's what one BTC is in the market. So I just come to market. Buying at market price means I want to buy at what the market is selling at that point immediately. I want to get my Bitcoin. I want to get my Bitcoin quickly. Oh, say my pointers are not so clear. Okay, let me go on there. All right. I'm pretty sure you got from the trade part. All right, so I'll just do that and then clear. Okay, so what I did, since I deposited Naira, Claire, I'm doing this for you. Since I deposited Naira, right, since I deposited Naira, I come here, that's this area. This is where you can search for the different currency pairs, right? I come here and I search. Let me show you where the search button is. This is where the search button is, right? This thing that looks like this guy here, that's the search button. So I click on this guy. I can also just click on this area, market, right? So I click here, and then I search for NGN, that's Naira. So these are the currency pairs that I'm trading with Naira on Binance. Do you get? So it means that I can use my Naira to buy BNB, I use it to buy BTC. I can also use it to buy USDT. Now, if I want to buy USDT, this is what I just do. I just click on this USDT Naira. I click here, and I can see that currently at the market right now, one USDT is 457 Naira. You get? So the exchange rate at this moment is 457 Naira here on Binance. For instance, so if I had bought 2,000, if I deposited 2,000 Naira if I deposited 2,000 Naira to my Binance account, it means that 2,000 Naira can get me $3 or is it 4? Yeah, and get me $4. You get. So I can even decide to not hold my money in Naira. I can decide to hold my money in USDT. Okay. So if I buy this USDT, let me use a market order. Market order means I want to buy at the price right now that the market is selling, which is 457. So I just go, let's say, choose notations, right? So I can click here to decide to use what market order I want to use, what buying order. So when I click here, it means that I'm going to buy at the market price. You get? So I can decide to buy 100% or 75%, you can see this, right? Or 50% I can use 50% of the amount of naira that I have to buy USDT at this market price, which is 457. Do you understand? Now, once I do that, I can come back to my wallet here. So I click on wallets. I click on wallets. And if I buy that USDT, it will show here. Okay, it will show on one of these coins here. It will show on one of them. And once it does, I can actually withdraw it and transfer to my wallet. So let's say you're using Trust Wallet and you want to be saving in cryptocurrency. It's simple. The first thing you just do is deposit naira. And you deposit naira by coming to deposits. You deposit naira by coming to deposit. Click on deposit. It will take you to where you can use a bank transfer to deposit that naira. And once you do, it's going to appear here. Once it appears there, you come to trades, this place. You come to trades, and then when you do, you can buy at the market price. You can buy at the market price. This is the market price at the moment. 457 naira to $1. Okay. So you can buy at this market price. And once you do, your orders will appear here. So let's say I wanted to buy, I'm going to show that in the next class. I'm going to show us how to use the Binance platform next class. Okay, so for now, that's all for now. So let me know if you have any questions before we go to the technical analysis part of trading. All right, so if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any questions, let me know now so we can talk about them before I go to the technical analysis part. All right. Okay, so ask me a question. I've asked you to unmute yourself. Harrison.
Okay.
Harrison. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Harrison.
Good afternoon, Karla. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, my question is there any way that you can place a kind of market order that you buy in the future? You don't want to buy at the exact market price as at that moment. You place an order that you can buy at the future instead of buying at the future market price.
Yes, actually, you can. I will show you how to do that. I don't want to take questions for now. That's actually the next thing we're going to do. We're going to look at how to use the Binance interface and put various types of orders. Okay, who else? Does anybody else have a question? Let's see.
Yes.
Right?
My question is actually similar to what he just asked. I wanted to actually find, because you were actually talking about the market order being the particular market price for that for the pair of either the NGN or the USDT. So I wanted to ask, what about the limit order?
Yes, I'll show you how to do that.
So like if the
that's the next class.
Okay.
Okay, so who else? Does
Okay.
anybody have any question? Okay, so let me finish with this slide so that we can move on to the trading aspects. Anyone has a question? Okay, so let me start screen sharing. So we just have like, just finish this slide. Okay, so I just showed you how to send. Right. I just showed you how to fund the Binance account. So it's free to deposit, easy to use, normal bank transfer basically. You deposit from and withdraw to your personal bank account also, simply, safely, and cheaply. Same thing. So you can also use MasterCard, low fees, it's instant, it's easy to use. Alright? Now I'm going to show you how to use peer-to-peer. It's completely free. On peer-to-peer, there are no fees. I'm pretty sure some of you have heard about OTC trade. OTC trade is, let me keep going. OTC means over-the-counter trade. It's like me buying crypto from someone who wants the same crypto. So you can buy and sell cryptocurrency you can buy and sell your Bitcoin in any local currency, in your local currency. You can also set your own price. So I'm going to share my screen now, mobile also, to show you how to do this. Okay, so let's go back home. Let's go to home. This is where home is. Let's go to home. Alright, now when you come here, you have this guy. This guy, P2P trading, classical trading, right? So I click here. Okay, excuse me. Now I can see that there are various people here who want to sell their crypto. The people here have their cryptocurrencies to sell. Somebody wants to sell his own at the rate of 458. Someone wants to sell his own at 459. Another person wants to sell his own at 459. No? Oh, sorry, someone wants to buy. Somebody wants to buy at 458, 459. Another person wants to sell at 458. So if I wanted to buy BTC without, maybe I don't want to go through placing order, I can just do it here. I can come to P2P and buy directly from someone who has BTC in their wallet. So this person wants to sell his own 458, 458, 457, various. That person has. You can see there are lots of people to buy from here, and then they are ranked based on the orders that they've completed and also the price. All right. So if I want to do that, let's say I want to buy. I click on buy. Click on this person's buy. I enter the amount that I want to. Now this person's limit is. That means. All right. If you look at this place, you find out that this guy, he wants to sell at least 20,000. That means if you want to buy 15,000 naira worth of USDT or BTC, okay, I'm on USDT. Okay. If you want to buy USDT worth of 15,000, he's not going to sell to you. So he has shown us that his limit is 20,000 to 1 million, right? 1, 2, 3, yeah, to 1 million. This is it. So if I wanted to buy 30K worth from him, I just come here and put 30%. You can see that it's already telling me minimum is 20K. Here. I put 30 and then I click on buy USDT. When I click on buy USDT, he will be alerted. Now, he's not, this platform is permissionless because he's not holding the money per se. When I click on buy USDT, this my money, this, let me just put myself and show you something. Jesus Christ. Alright, he's going to be alerted now. So this is me confirming the other details. Before I do this, I have to ensure that I already have Naira. I've already deposited Naira in my account. You see, there's a time counting for this. If I confirm these alert details, this order details, the coin will immediately leave his USDT wallet and transfer to my own. And then this 30K will immediately leave my wallet and enter his own. That's how it works. Please answer. I can also transfer the fund here. I don't know if I've seen this initially. I can also transfer the funds here. I don't want to do a transfer, so I'm not going to do it. So I can transfer the funds here. Once I click on this, an account details will show, an account number will show, and then when it shows, I transfer the money to him. Once he's alerted, he will click that he has received the money. And then this USDT will immediately leave his account and come to get. And then again, if maybe there was a problem, transaction was slow, you can always chat up one of Binance admin on this platform. You can let them know, oh, this is what happened. I tried doing this, and this is what happened. Maybe he has not received the money, and I've sent it already. Maybe it's a bank delay. You always get attended to. Always. Binance has one of the best customer care people, customer care reps. So you're not going to have any case of the money being stolen or something. Somebody wants to go to. Okay. Let's share screen here. All right, so that's for. Okay. Right, so I just cancelled that. All right. Here we talked about this. Talked about P2P. Okay, so this is the practical aspect. I've shown you already how to do this. So the next thing I'm supposed to do is send you a link to sign up. And I think I already did that. So I'll send you a link to sign up, and you can deposit Naira into your business wallet and buy BTC or any other cryptocurrency you want to buy. All right, then another thing also is you can apply to become a tutor and earn up to $500 per class. I'll send you the link. You can apply to become a tutor. You can do what I am doing, for other people. You can apply with Binance, and then for every class, you can earn up to $500 per class. All right, so you can keep in touch. This is just the first part of the class. The next part is where we enter the technical analysis. So let me exit here. From here. All right. Okay, so I'll take your questions now. Let me send you the link to apply to become a Binance tutor also. Okay, someone is asking a question. Someone is asking a question. It says, what about a situation where you send money and during the delay, the person withdraws the coin? No, this is Binance, it's a centralized exchange. Once that happens, before you become a seller or a buyer on Binance, remember you have to do your KYC, right? That's one. So we can always know who did that kind of thing. Another thing is the coins it leaves his wallet, it goes to an escrow wallet. Escrow is like an intermediate wallet. So when you are paying, that amount of USDT that you wanted is not his wallet. So you can't just withdraw it and go away with your funds. Besides, if he says that he hasn't received the transfer and it's been taken long, you can also create an issue as per chat up one of the Binance customer care there. You don't see the chat box and tell them, oh, this is what happened, this is what happened. They will take it up from there. So you're not going to have issues of somebody withdrawing the coin and running away with your money. Because first of all, it's a centralized exchange. So Binance has all the records. And remember, Binance is also a blockchain. So those records cannot be tampered with. Do you understand? Alright, someone is asking again, says, what is an airdrop and how does it relate to the crypto space? Okay, I will answer that after I'm done talking about Binance. The next thing we're talking about now is the technical analysis. So I'll show you what airdrops are. Question, I already opened an account from the link you sent this back. I didn't include your phone. Okay. It's all good, no trouble. I think it's automated. If you click my link, the referral code is automated. So someone is asking, how do we make withdrawal? Okay, let me show you how. Quickly, let me share my screen here. Alright, let's just review. Start now. Let's come here. Alright, let's put it over. So, to make withdrawal simple, come to wallet. This is where wallet is. Click on wallet. And look at what I want to withdraw. Say I want to withdraw this USDT I have here. Make sure you see it. Sure. Okay. So let's say I want to withdraw this USDT. This guy here. Okay, I'll answer that. Let me finish answering this. Let's say I want to withdraw USDT. I come here and then click on USDT. See, it shows me deposit and withdraw, right? So because it's USDT, because it's not fiat, I'll show you how to do fiat. I click on withdrawal, and then, yes, like I told you, various blockchains have USDT. Yeah, so if I am withdrawing to my trust wallet and I'm inputting USDT, I have to check if it is ERC20 to show the trust wallet USDT. If it's ERC20, BEP20, or Binance Chain, or Tron, it's ERC20 or Omni. So I include, let's say I'm withdrawing to ERC20. I include this. I include the amount of BTC I want to withdraw. Sorry, of USDT I want to withdraw. Maybe I want to withdraw just 10. Click on 10. And then, excuse me. And then here, I will just paste my wallet address. Or paste the wallet address. Okay, let me show you. Let's go to Trust Wallet. Okay, so let's say I want to. Let's say I want to. I'm not sure you're seeing that. No, teach me something else. So let's say I want to withdraw. I click here. I click here. I go to USDT. Alright, so you can see that there is ERC20. You can see that there's ERC20 USDT. There's Tether USDT. There's BP20 USDT. And there's also BP2 USDT. It's different. They're different from. There's BP2 USDT. Okay, this is different. So I just click on ERC20 if that's what I want to withdraw. And then I copy my wallet address. So I come here and I paste the wallet address here, right? And I make sure that what I clicked on is ERC20. That I make sure I clicked on this network. You can see it says select network. I make sure I click on this blockchain network. You get. So I want to withdraw this to this, and then I click on withdraw. Once I click on withdraw, this $10.78 will go to my trust wallet address. Yes, ERC20. So that's how it works. Right? Yeah. So that's how that works. Now someone is asking, why do we have to use P2P since we can already use Nigerian pays? You don't have to. Some persons, when you're trading on, I use market order when I was trading, trying to buy BTC or USDT with Naira. Sometimes it takes long, maybe like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, because at that point, that market is not busy. Naira pairs, the market for Naira pairs are not so busy compared to BTC USDT. So your order might not get filled in time. That's why some persons just prefer to go and buy P2P. Sometimes P2P is faster. Again. Then it says, are there extra advantage of using P2P? Yes, no fee. No fee. You get it? When you are depositing Naira to your account, 150 Naira fee, no matter how much you are depositing. But on P2P, it's completely free. There are no fees. It says, okay, using P2P as against the fiat method, since the both say, yeah, that's just the thing, no fees. And it says, what's also the difference between ERC20, TRC20, and BP2 wallets? All right, ERC20 are Ethereum tokens. ERC means it's Ethereum and blockchain. TRC20 is Tron blockchain. Then BP2 is the Binance blockchain. Binance actually has two blockchains, the BP2 and BP20. So those are different blockchains. That's why I told you before that every blockchain needs their own record of transaction. So if a token is on a certain blockchain, it needs to have that own. It needs to have its own record of transaction. So USDT can exist across those blockchains. And it says, what's the difference between BNB Smart Chain and normal BNB? Smart Chain BNB is on Smart BP20 blockchain. Then BNB is on BNB's blockchain. So they're like two different blockchains. And then I think BP20 is interoperable with Ethereum blockchain. If you notice, your BP20 wallet address is the same thing as your ERC20 wallet address. Then he said, is it possible to start receiving and trading crypto with your Binance account without linking to a fiat bank account? Yes, it's possible. When you want to withdraw, you can just do the linking. It's possible. He says, or is a link to a bank account a requirement? No, it's not. You can actually, if you want to withdraw, okay, let me start with deposit. If you want to deposit Naira to your own wallet, to your Binance wallet, you can actually transfer that Naira from someone else's account to it. I've done that before. I was teaching a student one day, and I was trying to show them how to deposit. So I opened, because he had not done his verification, I opened my own Binance wallet, Binance deposit Naira deposit platform, and then he did the transfer from his bank to that account. The Naira still entered my own wallet. Do you understand? So that can happen. You don't really need to link a bank account. It's not a requirement. But the requirement for your verification is BVN. That's if you don't have your national ID or driver's license or international passport. You can just use your BVN to do your verification. Okay, so you can trade without linking. Okay, I think that's all for this class. Does anybody have a question again? Okay, you can. I'm seeing your hand in the sense. You can unmute yourself if you have a question before we go to the technical analysis part. Okay, one more message. Since TRC20 is on Tron blockchain and ERC20 is on Tron blockchain.
Let me just complete that one. I was okay. Now, you actually said TRC is the Tron blockchain network, and then ERC is the Ethereum blockchain network. Can you hear me? Okay. So my question now is, we just saw your Trust Wallet. It has TRC, USDT TRC. So since Ethereum blockchain is a separate blockchain from Tron blockchain, so what is USDT doing in Tron blockchain?
Okay, USDT is a stable coin. It does not go up and down in price. It is backed by basically by physical assets. So USDT is not restricted to one blockchain. Itself is not a blockchain, but it's a currency, and it can exist on multiple blockchains. So when trading, somebody needs a stable coin to trade a volatile market. Okay, somebody needs a stable coin to trade a volatile market. So USDT is a stable coin that can exist on multiple blockchains. So it will not be fair if only Ethereum users can use USDT and only BP2 users can use USDT. So it's available on all other platforms. Now there are also other types of stablecoins. There's USDT packs, there's USD packs, there's Circle, also USD Circle. Basically, we find out that most blockchains want to have their own stablecoin that they can pair with other currencies. Binance has BUSD, that's Binance USD. Do you get? Apart from them also having BP20 USDT. So that's the reason, because you need a stable currency to trade a volatile market, a volatile currency.
Okay, okay, sorry, just one more. Since there's ERC20 USDT, there's TRC20 USDT. According to your explanation, these are just like different. These are just okay, yeah, these are just like different wallets linked to different blockchains. Okay, yeah. So can ERC20 go into TRC, and then can TRC go into ERC, and then okay.
You might lose your funds. I'm not sure if it will be reversed, but you might lose your funds. So that's why Binance there, when they are when they are sending, they tell you to choose the network. But I told you before, it is important that every blockchain has their own record of transaction. Okay, there are some things that are interoperable between blockchains. So that's where we talk about co-chains technology. That's a different thing. But every blockchain needs their own record of transaction. So you can't send TRC USDT to ERC 20 accounts. Just you know.
Okay. Sorry. Now there's this last one. Since ERC cannot go into TRC and now TRC cannot go into ERC, now we have different wallets holding all of these cryptocurrencies. Just like you explained earlier, we have the hot and then the cold wallets. Now for the hot wallets, now there are several other hot wallets out there, just like your trust wallet. Now it's a hot wallet. Yeah, I know that trust wallet you have the TRC, the ERC, all of the USDT blockchain.
It's a multi-purpose. You can multi-purpose blockchain. It can.
Exactly. So yeah, so okay now, so for some other wallets like maybe Exodus or and Jax or all of those other wallets, there are actually some of those wallets that they are not actually separated. Like it's just USDT that is just there, just one. So not like a trust wallet when you just like you explained just now, you know, the USDT has the BP20, the BP2, the TRC, and the ERC. But now for all of those other wallets that are not actually there are no description of the exact USDT wallet that are in those hot wallets, then how would you now know the USDT that will fit into that wallet since there are no extra description for them? And then that's one. Then the second question is for the cold wallets now. For the cold wallets now there are some cold wallets that actually support multiple coins, maybe like what is it called again? Okay, you know, in general, any cold wallet that supports multiple coins and then maybe USDT also. How will you now know the exact USDT blockchain that goes into those cold wallets?
They are written there. Just like the trust wallet showed me which one was TRC, which one was BP20, which one was BP2, which was ERC. They are always written there. You know that it sees that this one is BP20, this is ERC20, because it's part of the criteria for they wanted to be able to hold your coin. Basically, for your wallet, for your currency to be on a certain wallet, there are processes that it has to go through. And those processes will determine that you state what network that currency is on. And for the Exodus wallets that we talked about, if it can take TRC20, it will show you that okay, this USDT is TRC20. You want to add a USDT maybe ticket so that you can see USDT currency. It will show you if it's ERC20, just like you saw in Trust Wallet. And then again, Trust Wallet is a multi-purpose wallet. It can store coins across lots of blockchains. So you can find that there are over 10 blockchains. Is it? Am I correct? Okay, at least I know that there are more than 5 blockchains on Trust Wallet that Trust Wallet can access. So we have Tron, you can take Tron currencies. We have Ethereum currencies, Algorand, BNB, Binance Smart Chain, lots of blockchains. Even Tomo blockchain, Polkadot also. Polkadot also. So those currencies that are in different blockchains that Trust Wallet can access them. So you can actually send those currencies to Trust Wallet, provided you click the network that the currencies are entering and you submit the right.
But there's something I noticed. There's something I noticed. You know, I mean, since the TRC is what differentiates the Tron blockchain from other blockchains, the TRC coin itself has ERC20 written under it. That's a little bit confusing. Can you clear me out on that one?
TRC coin. That's on my Trust Wallet.
No, I mean, I believe the TRC coin is a product of the Tron blockchain.
Yes, it is.
sorry, the TRX, I mean Tron
Yes.
coin.
Tron
Okay,
coin is
but
called
it's
TRX.
exactly, but that Tron coin actually has ERC20 under it instead of TRC.
It
Since
means
it's
if you're seeing that anywhere, it means that just like I had Binance and then there was ERC20 BNB, still BNB, but ERC20. It just means that that coin is interoperable. So if I was building a solution, remember we talked about hospitals, we were talking about Bitcoin, blockchain use cases, and then we're talking about interoperability. If if the solution was built for healthcare, it's interoperable. It means that if I have BNB, which is a token for Binance Smart Chain, for Binance blockchain, I can also use it to access information on Ethereum blockchain. That's if I'm having this. The fact that BNB is on Ethereum and also on you can receive BNB if you have Ethereum blockchain, and you can receive it if you're on Binance blockchain. It just means that BNB it is interoperable. So if I have it, and I can use it to access info on the Ethereum blockchain, and I can also use it to access info on the BNB blockchain. I don't know if you remember when I was showing you the deposit point for BNB. You saw ERC20. You saw the Binance Smart Chain. You also saw BNB. That's BP2. BP2. You saw BP20. So it just means that BNB can also be got on Binance Smart Chain. Can also be got on Ethereum blockchain. Do you understand that? So it's not like it's confusing. It just means that one coin is interoperable across.
okay.
That's just what
Okay, all right.
Okay, so let's proceed to the next aspect. All right, just hold on. So this part is quite practical, and I'll be using a desktop here. I think I should be able to show you also how to access this. Okay, I should be also be able to show you how to access this mobile. Right? So, here we have this. Port. Please ensure you're tweeting about this event. Please, it's very important so that I can score based on my performance. It's part of it. It goes to show how many people attended the event and actually are following. So please ensure you tweet about it using the hashtags. Let me just post it again. Right. Okay. So please just do that on Twitter. Okay, so if you're using your PC, you can head over to your Binance account. This section is quite practical. Right, let's go here. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to access this on mobile. So let me start with PC. Alright, so this is Binance on my PC here. Yeah, you can do all of this and deposit. Yeah, we've already been through this. So for trades, I'm going to go to Classic. Classic trading on the desktop is spot trading on mobile. Okay, before we do this, let's come here. Let's go through some of the basics of crypto trading. Right. Okay. Like I already done the introduction. You know me, Karla Obakpolor, sometimes called God. And yeah, I've talked to you already about Binance. You know, who Binance is, what they've done, their their, their vision. You know. Alright, now let's talk about trading. Okay. So usually, sometimes before I learned how to trade, also before this class, when I see things like this, I always get like, what is happening here? What is this? What is this old graph up and down? I didn't even know these were called candles, but I just know there was something and in brackets they used to make my head spin. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to demystify that. You know, so it won't look mysterious. So we'll talk about trading. What is trading? Trading is basically buying and selling. I told you before that Bitcoin is an asset. You don't remember. I said, but can you hear me? Let's show me that. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. All right. So I said trading is basically buying and selling. I told you before that cryptocurrency, as much as it's a currency, it is also a commodity. And it is an asset. It is an asset. Yes. So it is also an asset. So imagine, remember the barter system. You bring yam, you give you oil. That can be called a trading pair. So I remember in social studies, our teacher used to say maybe at that period people wanted to exchange yam for oil because people use it to eat. People might also wanted to exchange maybe chair for table. Just using to teach us barter system. But look at it in trading aspects. So imagine yam and oil is a trading pair. You use oil to buy yam. You can also use yam to buy oil. That's a trading pair. It's the same thing here. So when you see things like BTC NGN, it's a trading pair. It means that I can use BTC to buy Naira, and I can also use Naira to buy BTC. When you see trading pairs like BNB BTC, I can use BTC to buy BNB and use BNB to buy BTC. So this is when you get on the Binance exchange, you're going to see this. You're going to see market pairs. You're going to see an order box, and then you're going to see the charts. So let me take you to. Let me take you there. Okay, let me bring you here. So if you are on, so let me go back to my. So let me share. If you are on your desktop, you just come to trade and then come to classic, right? Come to classic. Then let me show you how it looks like on mobile. So I'll do both mobile and still moving. So this is your trading chart. This aspect is still your trading chart. These are the order books. Here you can see the people. Red means sell, and then green means buy. Okay? So this green is people are buying and people are selling. So trades are going on at the moment. Here you see this is BTC USDT pair. Okay? This trading pair is BTC USDT. If I place this is where I can place a trade, market order, stop limit, or limits. Okay. All right. Now let me show you how it looks like on mobile. Let me show you how it looks like on mobile. Okay, so let's say I'm at home So let's say I'm here. Come to trades. Now, to see the trading, this is the trading thing. Here's the thing now. So here's the thing now. This is trading thing. This is my order book. This area. Okay. Now let me show you how to get to the chart. In getting to the chart, you need to click this guy here. This candle sign. That's how you get to the chart. So let me do it. Come here. And then I can see this thing. But now I want to change to BTC. Okay, so this is the chart. This is how the chart looks like. I can zoom out. I'm going to show you the different trading groups. I can zoom out and then you can see all this. So just hold on. Let me take you back to the text one. All right. So here. Let's remove this out. Hold on. So much. Okay, this should make it easier. Good. It should make it easier to look at. All right. So, okay. So this is time. Like I can see. Hold on. Let me move this part first. All right. Let me go back to the slide. So just to ensure that I'm following what is here. All right. So we've seen that this part is the chart, this part is the order box, and this is the market pair, right? Let me show them to you here. So these are the market pairs. Look at them here. So someone can buy at some with BNB. This is BNB market pairs. Okay. So I can click here and search for USDT market pairs, right? I can see the coins that are trading against USDT. I can click here and search for BTC market pairs. Are you seeing? These are the things that so scroll down here. So I can also check and see the things that are trading Naira market pairs. Right? Now this is the market pairs. This is the order book. At this point, I can see right now this is the price. See the price of BTC. It's going up and down. Why? Because here people are buying and here people are selling. Okay? So it shows the orders that are taking place right now. So when it shows green, means someone just bought. 9, it's showing white because nobody has done that. Someone just bought at this price, 987. Somebody wants to sell at this price. You get? Then here it shows me the amount of BTC. So somebody wants to sell 100 and okay no. Somebody wants to sell this amount of BTC. This is the total. Somebody wants to sell this. Oh, this is huge. Somebody wants to sell 100 and okay, not somebody. People are currently buying 100. That's this 134 BTC you're seeing is an order. So it's being filled at the moment. It's being sold off at the moment at $12,187 per BTC. That's why you see that this price here, this height is here. It's not changing yet until this order is filled. And this order is getting filled. You can see it's reducing. You can see it's reducing. All right. So this is the order book. Now this is where you can place your orders. So here you can use the market order. You can use the stop limit. I'm going to show you that very soon. This is it. Okay. Then here you can see the time frame. Here you can see the time frame. this chart is a one-day chart. Now, what it means is, what's this? Okay, so you can better see this. Let's go to somewhere recent. Right. So these are candles, right? These candles, they represent, they show the information of the price that a coin started trading at, and the price it ended with. You get. So this candle represents one day. And you can see the date here. Just look at the bottom of the screen. You see the date here. This is 21st. So yeah, this is 21st of October. So this is like 2 days ago. This is the candle for 2 days ago. Let me show you how it looks like on mobile. For those of us who are using a mobile device, stop sharing. Okay, so there is a mobile device. At this top part here, at this top part, this is where you can determine the time frame you want to look at. So you can decide this to be 1 year, the 1 year time frame. You can actually zoom in. This is zoom in and see. So at the bottom here, I can see 2020, 10, 21. So this is how it was traded on 21st. It means that mix is when you come in, please mute your mics. Okay, it means that here, it means that on this day, Bitcoin started at a price of, when you look here, you see 11,872. So this is the candle. It started at a price of 11,872 and ended at this price, 13,217. So it means that for this day, 2 days ago, Bitcoin started at 11,872 and traded at 13,217. So this day was actually a very bullish day. People would have made lots of profit. That was 2 days ago. I know this by this information here, but and because I am on a 1 day candle, I'm on a 1 day thing. So it means that every candle here represents a day. Do you guys understand? Let me know if it's happening. Okay, instruction. Please let me know if you're following. Okay, is anyone following? Let's see. Okay. Okay, I'll be trying. So this is for that candle. And I can decide to look at an hourly view, the 1 hour view. Okay, I can look at the 1 hour view. And each candle represents an hour also. Same thing. You can look at the 1 week view, which means that each candle represents 1 week. Okay. So this week was September from 3rd from the 3rd of September to I think 10th. That's 1 week. So this is a 1 week candle. It means that in that 1 week, since this is again red and green Red for candles also means sell, and then green also means buy. So it means that on this day, people sold BTC. So it started, the price for BTC started here. I think. No, it's supposed to come down. So this was in the month of February, March. So this was in the month of March. You can see the dates here. This was in the month of March. This was when that BTC dump happened. Who was in the market then? This was when it happened. Okay. So I know this by the weekly chart. So if I want to look at October, I can see this is October. I can see that what week is this? Okay. So from the 5th of October to maybe most likely 12th, 7-day candle. Bitcoin started at 10,316 and then went all the way to and closed at 11,458. So from one Monday to the other, this was what happened. Do you understand? All right. Now, let's show for you. Okay, so I've shown you the market pairs, the order box, and then the charts. All right, so now I'm going to talk about, okay, I've talked about market pairs already. Now I'm going to talk about the different types of orders. So there is, so there's the limit order. The limit order is an order to buy or sell an asset at a specific price or better. So somebody asked a question about me buying Naira at that market order. Like if you could buy the higher order, fine, no trouble, you can. What you would do there is use a limit order. So a limit order is an order to buy or sell an asset at a specific price or better. Price better than that. This price is called the limit price. Limit buy orders will execute at the limit price or lower. So while limit sell orders will execute at the limit price or higher. When you're setting a limit order, you're basically saying, I'd like to execute this order at this specific price or better, but never else. Now let me show you how to use a limit order. Okay, skip. Right? So I come here. Right. So this is where I am. And say I want to buy Bitcoin. I'm going to first check out the price. This is the price of BTC right now, 5,090. Okay. So if I feel like, I'm going to show you how to determine whether BTC is going to go up or go down. If I feel like, oh, Bitcoin is going to get to, maybe Bitcoin is going to come down, because the whole idea of trading is buying low and selling high. So here I am, I'm at limit order. This is the price of Bitcoin. If I think that BTC is going to drop, right, I'm going to tell myself, please, instead of buying at 12,977, I want to buy at this price. I'm going to maybe I want to buy $100 less. I think that BTC is going to drop. I'll change it and put it here. Okay? So I'm going to buy BTC at this price. Right? That's what it is. Now, how many amount of BTC? If I had this USDT BTC pair, so at the moment, I don't have USDT. At the moment, I don't have USDT. So I can decide to use, okay, I have some USDT actually. I can decide to use 50% of my USDT or 75% of it means 9 or 100% of it, which is 12. You get? And then I click on buy BTC. If I click on buy BTC, my order will come somewhere here and come down. For example, you can see that this is going down in price, right? 12,968, 12,964. It's going to go down to an order and stay at 12,877. That means that if BTC drops to this price, my order will automatically sell off. Sorry, will automatically buy BTC. It means that my USDT will leave my account my wallet, and then BTC will be credited to my wallet. Do you understand this? So this is how to use a limit order. I can also do the same thing with selling BTC. If I had some BTC and I feel like BTC will get to 13,000, you get this is I'm still at limit order. I click change this to 13,000, or maybe even 14,000 if I want. But let's do 13,000. Change it to 13,000, and then I use a certain amount of. I don't have any BTC, so nothing is showing here at the moment. So I use a certain amount of BTC. I can say, okay, I'm going to sell my BTC. No. When it comes down, when it goes up. Right now it's at, okay, no, yeah, when it goes up, sorry. Right now it's at 12,900. So maybe I want to sell it at 13,000. I'm thinking that the market would increase, price of BTC would increase. So I set my order here. You know, if I had some BTC, I say, okay, maybe 100% of it or 75% of it. I put the order to sell at 13,000. And then the amount of BTC I have would show in USDT. So that means that if I'm selling 75% of my BTC, I want to buy a certain percent of USDT. Then I click sell. Whenever I click any of this, it will come and show here in my open orders. This is where it will show. So let me show you how this works on Blue. Okay, so let's go here. BTC USDT. Remember, we clicked that and we like button to go to this. So I'm just going to click that to come here. So this is my order. You know how to get to this place, right? Click here and show you. So I'll just come here. So I click here, right? And then I click here to search, or I just come to this point here to see the pest that you're in BTC. So I come here. It's not true. So I just BTC USDT. I've set BTC USDT before. That's why it was showing me. So this is where I am, and I want to buy BTC. This is limit order. So this is here you click to get the different kind of orders. So alright, go back. So click on limits. So there's limits, there's market, there's stop limits, there's also like no limits. And I want to buy BTC when it drops. So I can change this to 800, right? So I click on 75% on USDT or 100% on USDT. So once I click buy BTC, the order will come and appear here. It will show me that, okay, I'm getting BTC. So I want to buy BTC when it comes to this price. Click on buy BTC. Right? So it's showing here that I want to buy BTC at this price. It's showing 0% because my order has not yet been filled, right? Nobody has wanted to, nobody wants to sell BTC right now at 12,867 units. This is what it's showing. Now I can cancel this order. I don't want to buy BTC at this moment. Cancel this order. It's canceled. Right? So this is for limits. I can do the same thing for selling. So I want to sell my BTC at 13,000. Come here, 13,000. You have BTC and sell maybe 100% of it. I click on sell. If I click on sell, the same thing will happen. The orders will appear here. Okay. Let's show you how to use market order. Okay, let me show you how to use market order. So first, explain what market order is. Sorry if the class is too slow for you, as if you already know how to use this. Maybe this class is not for you, but this is for newbies, people who are very, very new, who have never used the platform before. So it might be feeling a little slow to you if you are already a pro trader. But for the sake of others, I need to show you how to use each platform. Right. Okay. Alright, so this is limit order. We've already talked about this. Market order, I showed you already how market order works. It means I want to buy at the price the market is at the moment. Okay, that's what I did when I was trying to buy Naira with BTC. Yes, Naira BTC or BTC with Naira. That's what I did. So I just said to buy or sell at market order. Market order is usually faster than the rest. So like it says here, it is an order to buy or sell at the best currently available market price. Do you understand? Best currently available market price. It's basically the fastest way to get in or out of the market. So when you're setting a market order, you're basically saying, I'd like to execute this order right now at the best price I can get. Do you get? Now let's look at stop loss order. So I already explained how to use market order. Now let's look at stop loss order. This guy is very important to traders. Okay, so now that we know what market and limit orders are, let's talk about stop loss orders. Stop loss order is a type of limit or market order. So it's like a measure of the two. You get? One market order is instantaneous. Limit order says, okay, if the price doesn't go below this, if the price goes below this, I'll sell to you. But if it does not go higher than this, I will not sell. You get? Then stop loss is a mix of the two. Now listen. A stop loss order is a type of limit or market order that's only activated when a certain price is reached. This price is called the stop price. The purpose of a stop loss order is mainly to limit losses. Every trade needs to have an invalidation point. That's a point where it executes or a point where it does not execute, which is a price level that you should define in advance. Yep. So this is the level where you say that your initial idea was wrong, meaning that you should exit the market to prevent further losses. So the invalidation point is where you would typically put your stop loss order. Let me show you what this means. Just show you what this means. Okay. All right. Now, say I feel like this Bitcoin, right now the price is at 12,917. Right? I feel like it's going to increase to 13,000. Let me go to stop loss. So I feel like it's going to increase to 13,000. So here, yes, I want to buy BTC, right? So I'm saying that if it increases to 13,000, if it increases to 13,000 bytes, no, sorry, this should be 13,000. Oh no. It's usually used for losses. So let me look at selling. Usually used to prevent losses. Okay, so sell BTC. All right. So let's say I have $1,000 of USDT. No, what of BTC, and I want to sell it when the price goes up. So let's say sell BTC at 13,500, right? And then limits 12,000. Right now, the price is at 12,975. So I now say 12,974. You get the amount of BTC I can decide to use in the social media. So if I feel like Bitcoin will go up at 13,500, I feel like it's going to go up in price. Maybe something happens, I've done my technical analysis, and it's going to go up in price, 13,500. I can set my order such that when it goes here, it sells off. But if something happens, and instead of going up, like what happened in February or March, or like what happened in March, instead of going up, it drops drastically to like to like 10,000, or 10,000 is even good, to like $1,000. It's like impossible. Okay, let's say it's like 5,000. Instead of going up to 13,500, it drops to like 5,000. This guy will save me this limit order here. What it means is that if BTC drops below 12,000, if the BTC start dropping below 12,974, my trade will automatically sell. So that I don't hold that BTC, and my BTC that was not that was 12,900 before is now $5,000. That would be really painful. That would be me making a whole lot of losses. Do you understand? So the limit order prevents losses. So even let's say you are sleeping or you are on the road and you have placed a trade on your BTC, it was at 13,500. You said, okay, sell at 13,500. Limits, and you did not set a limit. It means that it will only sell when you get to 13,500. And whether or not your BTC gets here, and if the price of BTC drops to 10,000, it will not take up any action. But if you place a limit order at 12,974, it means that if BTC, instead of increasing to 13.5, drops to 12,974, it will sell at this point. So you won't have the risk of the value of your BTC reducing because of the price impact in the market. Please let me know if you understood what I just said. The stop limit is very important. But just let me know in the chat function if you understood what I just said. Okay, so apparently we understand the difference right now between limit order, market order, and stop loss order. You get? Alright, so you know how to use the limit. Have I shown that on you? You know how to use the limit order in market order and stop loss order. Alright, so now let's go on. We have just like 30 minutes remaining for this course. So I'm going to talk about technical analysis and fundamental analysis. So we're going to look at technical analysis. Okay, somebody raised their hand. Okay, so you can unmute yourself. Ask a question. I can't hear you. Ask a question. Evangeline David. Okay, I'm not saying anything. Okay, that was a mistake. Okay, all right, no trouble. All right, so let's go back here. Okay, so technical analysis and fundamental analysis. Let me give that a very good explanation. Technical analysis is basically knowing what's happening. Fundamental analysis is knowing why. Do you get it? So technical analysis, you can know that it's like maths and English. One requires creative reasoning, and the other one is just is set. How do I put it? It's like 1 + 1 = 2. 2 + 2 is 4. Okay, that's for technical analysis. But for fundamental analysis, it will explain why addition works the way it does, and why 2 + 2 is equal to 4. So for technical analysis, you're looking at price history, patterns. Basically, you're working with charts. So price history, patterns, the trends that emerge, so that you can predict how the market will go. So these are charts that we always see with different lines, And then for the method analysis, you're looking at the underlying factors of a crypto asset. Do you get technical analysis? You're doing it on the charts, you're doing it on the trading platform. And for the meta analysis, you're looking at the core use cases of that blockchain or that cryptocurrency or that token. You're saying, okay, why would this coin make a lot of sense in the future? You are saying, oh, because it's solving this problem. Okay, you're not finding out what blockchain is this coin built on, what solution is it solving, who are the partners, who are the team, you know, what is the history of the founder of this asset or this currency, the blockchain, what are the use cases? So, and what are the latest news surrounding this assets? What are the news surrounding the crypto industry at the moment? So those are fundamental analysis. You're looking at the underlying factors that can affect the value of assets. Do you get? So for Bitcoin, you're looking at the number of addresses, hash rates, trading volume. For example, we knew that Ethereum went up in prices during the DeFi boom because lots of people needed Ethereum to run transactions. Do you get? So a lot of traders knew that, oh, Ethereum was going to go high in price, and they knew all this. So they already set their buying strategies. But for technical analysis, that's a part of fundamental analysis. For technical analysis, you are basically on the charts, looking and checking, okay, what's happening. Do you get? Now, these are the main tools for technical analysis. Candlestick, I already showed you what the candlestick is. It presents data within a given period. Buying and selling data of an asset within a given period. And then trend lines and supports and resistance. And then indicators and how to use them. Technical analysis indicators, how to use them. So we're going to look at RSI, moving averages, and then, and then Bollinger Bands. We're going to look at this technical analysis indicators. All right, just so I remember, of course. Okay, so let's go next. Now, these are candlestick charts. I've showed you how this works. A candlestick is made of 4 data points: the open, the high, the low, and the close. Also referred to as the VHRs. The open and close are the first and last recorded price for the given time frame. I don't know if you remember when I showed you the candlestick of BTC USDT 2 days ago, 21st. Was it 2 days ago, 3 days ago, on the 21st? I showed you how that candlestick went, what price it opened at and what price it sold at. And so candlestick charts are one of the most important tools for analyzing financial data. Candlesticks date back here. You can read all about this, but just to let you know that use of candlestick in trading is not so new. It dates back to the 17th century in Japan. All right. Now I'm going to show you how to draw trend lines. Trend lines are widely used by both crypto traders and technical analysis. Now the thing is, I might not be able to show you how to draw trend lines on mobile, but I'm going to show you how to do it now on desktop. So let's come back here to our charts. Trend lines are used to kind of determine a price movements for cryptocurrencies, basically. I think I should explain that here. Okay, so there are lines that connect certain data points on a chart. Typically, this data is the price, but not in all cases though. Some traders may also use trend lines on technical indicators and oscillators. Now, let me show you what this is. So this is a 1 week chart. Let me use a day chart. No, let me use a 2-hour chart. Okay, so here you have lots of, I think you can see my cursor, you have lots of drawing tools. So I'm going to click on this to start a trend line, to draw a trend line. Now, the trend line must connect a candle price and must connect to another one without interruption. Do you understand? Without interruption. Let me use another. Let me use another trading line. Let me use another time frame. Monday. Okay. Okay. This. This. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So let me draw a trend. So let's say I want to draw from this candle. Say I want to draw from this candle. You see here. Bottom of this candle. So I'm trying to determine. Imagine this was the last. Okay, this is okay. Okay. So I'm trying to draw this trend line. I've drawn this trend line. It can be used in ascending value and also decreasing value. So no, this is not valid. This is not a valid trend line because it's already this point, this candle here is breaking across the line. So I need to draw it properly. So that means this should be here, right? Okay. So it's supposed to be from one point to from one price point to the other, right? So I can use this one. This one. It's supposed to touch this one. Right. Okay. So this is one trend line I'm drawing. Now, what's the use case of this trend line? With this line, I can see that Bitcoin isn't going below this area. First of all, remember that we're using an hourly candle. Oh no, sorry, a daily candle. So it means that within this day, from 15th of March to that's for long term to this is June, okay, to 11th of July, Bitcoin didn't go below this price. Look at the price here, 6,000. Bitcoin didn't go below 6,000. It touched it at this point and then kept going up. If I used a 1 hour, sorry, if I used a weekly candle, probably my trend line will be from here to here to get. So it just shows that in the last couple of weeks, Bitcoin did not go below 6,000 at all. Because I know because this is where I drew it from this 6,400 and something dollars. So it just kept going up. So if I had drawn this, if I had started trading before now, let's say I wanted to place a trade later on, I would know that, okay, if Bitcoin drops to 6,000, it will be a good time to buy because it's most likely going to increase again. Now, check out these places. If I was going to draw a support, I'll explain what support is in the next slide. If I was going to draw a support, I would have drawn it at this point. It means that Bitcoin didn't go below 8,000 at this point. It kept going high. And at this point, it came down, but it did not come down up to 8,000. So it means that this support had lasted already. But I see what support is. But basically, trend lines are used to check for the price impact of a certain currency and know whether, okay, it is going to pass a certain level. And then with this, I can also see that this price here, the 664, whatever it is, around 6,000. This price, Bitcoin did not go below this price from these dates, you get, to these other dates here. So that's how to draw a trend line Let me go back to the explanation so you can understand. Here it says the main idea behind drawing. Okay. The main idea behind drawing trend lines is to visualize certain aspects of the price action. So what actions have the price been taken in the last 1 week, or in the last 3 hours, or in the last 6 hours, or in the last 1 month? So the main idea is drawing trend lines to visualize certain aspects of the price action so you can see and make decisions. This way, traders can identify the overall trend of the market. Traders can identify the overall trend of the market. Okay. Now let's go to the next one. Does anybody understand how to draw the trend lines? If you have any question, you can ask me. If you have a question, you can ask me. Okay.
I understand.
Okay, so that's for trend line. Just to be sure. This thing's not- Okay. Okay, still right now. So let's continue. So look at trend lines. Now, if a trend line doesn't, if it doesn't connect, let me show you. So if you're drawing a trend line, and for example, this is not a good trend line. This is not a good trend line because this price is breaking it. So you can't determine the trend with this. The good thing would be you would sort of drawn a trend line from here. The good thing would have been to draw a trend line from here to here. But if you're drawing from here to, it won't get here because this guy is already breaking it. So the trend is broken to the moment. But this is a better trend line. So from here to here, it's connecting these points. And then you can forecast and say, okay, since it was connected here, the next time it's connected is somewhere higher. It means that Bitcoin, the price of whatever currency, will most likely not touch here again. So if it comes here, you can buy because you know that it's going to go back up because of the trend. Do you understand? So from here to here, it touched here, and then the parallel line still continues. It means that the currency is most likely going to keep increasing. If it touches the trend but doesn't break it, it will continue to go up. As to keep going. It might come down, but it's still going to go up. But if it breaks it, it means that that price might most likely come down. Do you understand? All right. So next, support and resistance. This is one of the easiest to use. So support and resistance, just think of resistance as a price ceiling and support as a price floor. Resistance means that, okay, the price only touches the price of the asset only touches that amount, but never goes beyond it. And then support means it touches that amount, but never goes below it. So it touches a certain amount of the price of the asset, but never goes below it. Let me show you how to use support and resistance. Okay. Okay, so let's use a we're using 1 day. Let's use 1 hour. 2 hours. Let's see. Okay. Where do I want to get this? So I can draw a trend line from here to here. Get since this is live. I'm done with you. Can go. I can draw a trend line from here to here. From here all the way, either here or here. Basically, it has to touch another line. I can draw it like this also here. But we're done with trend line. So this can show me that BTC is not going to come down. Like, okay, if I draw this trend line all the way here and it touches this one without interrupting any other, it means that the price of Bitcoin will most likely touch here and keep going. That if it doesn't break the trend, it will keep going. So I won't be afraid to place a trade to sell my BTC. Okay, so let me show you support and resistance. So this is a 2-hour chart. All right. Now, for the past, this is the time from 12 o'clock. Let me use this one. So let's say I want to draw the support. So from here, so are you saying, okay, maybe I should end here. So it's a straight line. So apparently, for the past, from this candle is 10 o'clock. From 10 o'clock on the 10th of October, that's 2020, right? Yes. From 10 o'clock on 10th of, 20, from 10th of October to 8 o'clock, Bitcoin didn't break. This was a support for Bitcoin. It didn't break $11,169. It was just here. It touched it at some point and went up. Touched at some point and went up. This was a support. You get? It did not break it. And then this was a resistance. Resistance. Let me show you. Let me drop that one here. So let's say from here. When did we start breaking it? So this was the support of Bitcoin on the 10th of October, right? Support here, this was the price, 11,194. Then this was the resistance, 11,729. So when you check and see that for the last, how many hours is that? 12. Yeah, this one 12 to 6. For the last 6 hours, not even okay. For the last 6 hours, more than 6 actually. Let's say here. For the last 12 hours actually, Bitcoin didn't come below this price, right? And then for the last 12 hours, it didn't go beyond 11,720. I would be able to know that if it breaks this support, it means that the price is going to go. But if it had broken this if it broke this resistance, it means that the price will go up. If it broke this support at this point, it means that price will go down. You get? So if, let's say on this day, I was not in the market and I'd seen this trend, and then I drew my support and resistance. If, let's say by this day let's say by 8 p.m., or let's say by 12, what time is this? Okay, 19th. Okay. So let's say by this time, the next day, I see that this candle, this guy here, has broken this resistance. I'll know that Bitcoin is definitely going to go up. Definitely. So I will not be afraid to place a trade and buy BTC here because I knew it was going to go up. And true to it, this is where Bitcoin is at now. But this is how traders understand the markets. These are the most simple trading tools that you can use. Okay. So before I go on, does anybody have any question on this? This for resistance and support. If you have any question, let me know if I continue. Okay, you understand. So you know how to draw resistance and how to draw support line. So you have to look for a point when it was like the currency wasn't going really up or going down, and then check for spikes in decrease in price or increase in price, and then draw your lines from those ones, from those spikes. All right. Any question? Okay, let's continue. So we're done with support and resistance, price floor and price ceiling. Next. Okay, now relative strength index. Relative strength index is an indicator that illustrates whether an asset is overbought or oversold. Let me take you there. Nope. Okay, this is where we are at. Relative strength index. So now let me take you here. This is the trading chart. Now, when you come to this part here, technical indicators, you see TI, technical indicators. You click on technical indicators, and then you can search for RSI. There are lots of, Binance gives you a lot of technical indicators. So you can check for RSI, relative strength index, and turn it on. Click on it. Now, if you notice it appeared here, right? Now, I can come to this place here and set the format for me. Relative, I can set the color that I want, how I want to be style, and then also the price line. Why is my price line a different color? That needs to be green for that. The other needs to be red. So I need this guy to be okay, thank you. Good. Right. So the price line, 70% and 30%. Now, here it says that here, if so I can just make the settings however I want. This upper limit shows the buying, that if a currency is being overbought or being oversold. This at this point here it's 70%. So if this graph increases above 70%, it means that Bitcoin is currently being overbought, and this is a good time to sell because the people are buying a lot. And then then if it is below 30%, that's let me check for the charts and you can see. Okay, so at this point here, that's past 70%. It means that people are buying Bitcoin a lot, and they will soon stop buying. So it means that it's not a good time to buy; it's a good time to sell. You get? But at this point, 30%, let me look for where the graph was going below. Okay, maybe I should change the time. So I'm making 2 days, 2 hours. Let's look at Monday. Okay, good. So at this point here, this guy is being oversold, which means it's a good time to buy. So you can look at this day, and this is a 1 day trading view. So a 1 day chart. So I can see that on this day, this is the date. And the dates at the bottom. On this day, Bitcoin was really oversold. And this would be a good point to buy. Okay, this is a good point to buy. So I buy and then maybe set a sell order for a point at which I think that it will get to. But basically, this chart helps you see whether the currency is being overbought or oversold. And it's one of the easiest to use. Here it says the relative strength index is an indicator that illustrates whether an asset is overbought or oversold. It's a momentum oscillator here that shows the rate at which price changes are happening. So at this point, here it's been overbought. Sorry, it's been oversold. Some persons are buying, and then some are still selling. The price change here, from here to here, is not so much. Because it's being oversold, the price is not increasing that much. You get, compared to here where it is being overbought, the prices here are increasing. Do you understand? The prices here are being oversold. So it has crossed the 70% index at this point. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So we looked at RSI. Now let's look at moving averages. Are you guys following? Do you need me to explain it before? Okay, someone said yes. So what do you need to explain? You can unmute yourself or raise your hand so I can see you unmute. Okay, you're following. Okay, that's sorry. Right. Right, so let's look at moving averages. Okay, so moving averages, they smooth out price action and make it easier to spot market trends as they're based on previous price data. They like predictive qualities. So if you're using a moving average, it's more of a historical analysis. So checking what a certain coin was before. In other words, they are lagging indicators. So moving averages here, the two most common are simple moving average and exponential moving average. You get? Let me show you where you can find them on the chart. So these are the moving averages. 7-day moving average, 25-day moving average, and 99-day moving average. So we can see that the 7-day moving average is yellow, this yellow. The 25-day is pink, no, actually purple. I think purple. And then 99-day is kind of oxygen or maroon, whichever you like to call it. So you can find it, you can see that the 7-day moving average has more activity than this 99-day moving average. 99-day moving average is used for maybe long term to see where the price of the currency is going. Even though it doesn't have predictive qualities, it just tells you where it's coming from. You get same thing for the other types of moving averages. So you can see what happened before in the past. And then if you use this with your support and resistance line, you can be able to tell whether a coin's price, an asset price, will increase in value or reduce in value. So that's for moving averages. Now let's go to Bollinger Bands. So you can just go maybe. Yep. So the Bollinger Bands have three. Let me look for. Let's check it to our charts. So the Bollinger Bands have three lines. The first one is the support. No, the first one here I can show you is a resistance line. The one under is a support line, and then the one in the middle is the moving average. So if you're using, some people traders just like to use Bollinger Bands because it's easy. It shows you your support, shows your resistance, and then it shows you the moving average. And then you can easily make a decision because of that type of it. For example, although it's not so as far for support and resistance, it just give you a one-time view. But if you draw your lines properly, you'll be able to understand that okay, a price is going in a certain direction or going to drop or increase, basically. So just to show you what the Bollinger Bands do. So there are indicators made of three lines of bands: the middle band, the upper, and the lower. These bands are then overlaid on the chart, like you can see here. You get, along with the price action. The idea is that as volatility increases or decreases, the distance between these bands changes. So you can see here, it was quite stable, not so volatile. And then the next distance we're seeing is at this point. Let me show you one. The trade. Okay. So here it's like okay, it's cool, but this up, how do I put it? This mountainous curvy-like pattern line. The space between this one and this one is different, and the space between this one, the distance between this one and this one. So the distance between this one and this one is large. That's because the price action here is more stable than it is here. Here it started just increasing and increasing and increasing in price, and then now it looks like it's stabilizing. Do you get? So that's what Bollinger Bands help. They help you basically all tools, all trading tools. They help you with prediction. Do you get? This is what technical analysis is basically based on. Okay, I think that should be all for technical analysis at the moment. Okay, so we're going to go to various types of trades. There's scalping, there's day trade, and there's swing trade. So scalping is it's instantaneous. It's not quick. It's more like 15 minutes trade or 1 hour trade, 2 hours. Then day traders do the whole day. The scalping takes place across the smallest time frame. So I'm giving you minutes and hours. Now, what scalpers try to do is they attempt to earn more on small fluctuations in prices, very small fluctuations in prices. So when you're scalping, you're not really necessarily make so much. You might make, let me say, $1 or 50 cents per minute or hour. It depends on the price impacts in the markets at that point. So what they do is they enter and exit trade positions within minutes or even seconds, rarely within hours. In most cases, they use technical analysis to try and predict the price movements. So if you know how to use this, you can scalp. If you know how to use moving averages, Bollinger Bands, especially trend lines and support and resistance. If you know how to use that, scalping becomes easy for you. But the profit may not be so much, they're small, but it is the amount of time that you trade that will determine how big your profits will become. So in most cases, they use technical analysis to try and predict price movement and exploit the bid and ask spread and other inefficiencies to make a profit. Okay, Ginika, you have a question? Yep, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. You raise your hand, so when you're ready, you can ask a question. Or unmute yourself and ask a question. Okay, so this is for scalpers. Sorry, am I done scalping? Yep, yep, scalping. Okay, so due to the short-term frames, scalp traders often target only small percentage of profit, usually less than 1%. So imagine you're using $100 to trade. Less than 1% of the $100 is less than $100, right? Yes. So your interest, your increase in profit is quite small. You get. All right. So scalping is a numbers game, basically. Then for day trading has to do with what you see. Um, how do I put it? It's more. It has more risk and it requires more time because you're trading within a 24-hour period. If you've seen any movie where, most like in Wolf of Wall Street, if you've seen any movie where they make trades that not on crypto markets, let's say on the asset markets, the stock exchange markets. One very good one is Wolf of Wall Street, where they're calling it, buy this asset, buy this stock right now, and this, and every day there's a target, there's an amount they open at, and there's an amount they close at. So that's an example of day trading. Then it involves entering and exiting the market positions within the same day. Okay? So the other one, scalping is within minutes, day trading is within days, within the same day. So you use technical analysis also for day trading. So cryptocurrency markets are not subject to opening and closing times. 24 hours, you can trade around 24 hours. You can also use day trading to find out what time is most active in the markets. Day traders usually find out what time is most active and then they trade within those periods. And then also in day trading, you rely on technical analysis, which determines your assets to trade, which determines the assets you trade. It requires you also always drawing charts, finding out which asset will go up in price or which one will drop in price so you can set your buy and sell orders. And day trading also requires you to trade more than one asset so that you can maximize the opportunities and the profits that you'll be making. Then swing trading, which is what I'm mostly at, first trading chart. The risks here are less. Yes. They trade within a larger time horizon. Let me give you an example. That period that Bitcoin dropped to $5,000, oh, it was an amazing time for us because we knew that we are buying at that point. We just keep buying. So swing traders are the type that when Bitcoin dropped to $5,000, they bought. When it was at 6,000, they bought. When it was at 10, the company not showing swing traders at $10,000. So at 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, they bought. Then when Bitcoin started getting to 10,000, they stopped buying. It's because they bought all the dips and they are ready to sell at the high point. So some swing traders right now are selling their cryptocurrency. Their Bitcoin. They're selling the ones that they bought at, let's say, $5,000. So that's a lot. That's over 100% margin, profit margin. But then again, swing traders have to be really patient, because buying BTC at February or March and then selling now July takes a lot of patience to do it. So I say, often your goal as a swing trader is to identify an asset, because based on that aspect, identify an asset that looks undervalued, that isn't being traded yet, but the price hasn't increased yet. So you probably buy that asset, maybe it's at $1 or maybe at $0.8. So you buy that asset and hold it to sell when it increases. Now imagine buying an asset at $0.8 and then it increases to like $5. Maybe you bought 1,000 of that asset when it was $0.8, and then when it gets to $5, you're selling it. That's a lot of profits. That's over 100 times, over 10 times, yes, over 10 times the profits. You have made over 10 times profits. So similarly to how it is with day trading, many swing traders use technical analysis. Also, they use, however, as the strategy plays out across a longer period, they use fundamental analysis. For example, a lot of people, let me say, but some people knew Bitcoin is going to drop in price during that February period. Some thought, okay, because of the COVID-19 matter, they will drop in price. And they positioned their trade already. And some of them knew that this was going to increase during this period. So swing traders use fundamental analysis a lot. Alright, so as it doesn't come with the stress and adrenaline of fast-paced day trading, fast-paced day trading is now, quickly, you have to act immediately. Swing trading takes, fundamental analysis and a lot of calculations, thinking beyond the mathematics of technical analysis. So as it doesn't come with the stress and adrenaline of fast-paced day trade, swing trading can be an ideal strategy for beginners. So what you can do as a swing trader, you're just starting, you can decide to look at a coin, see how much this coin is selling at, do some further fundamental analysis on knowing if the coin's value will increase in price, and buy it and hold it. It could be a month, 2 months, or 3 months. You get? So that's what you can do as a beginner, because it's less volatility is here in the swing trading. Okay, I think this should be all. Alright, so let me show you the trading view. I've explained some things. Let me just come here. So I've explained this. I've explained drawing your trend lines, how to draw your trend lines. I've explained how to draw your supports and your resistance. I've also explained how you can use Bollinger Bands and also use RSI indicators. So right now, if you have any question, this is a very good time to ask your questions. Okay, so if you have any questions, please do ask. You can unmute yourself and ask questions.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, all right. All right, thank you for the lecture. I have a question to ask. When doing a particular trade, how many technical indicators do you use?
Okay, I told you before that I'm more of a swing trader, though. So I do more fundamental analysis. But if I want to do sorry, let me just stop this. But if I want to do day trading, what I do is I do more of I use trend line and support and resistance mostly, because those ones are more short term than long term. And then sometimes I also use the RSI to see if the coin is going to be bought or sold. So I can know whether to sell and to buy at my points. So however it is, don't enter the market blindly without any indicator. Okay? Okay, someone is asking, what's the best time frame range for day traders? It depends on the assets you're trading. It depends on the assets that you're trading. If you're trading, I can't really say at the moment, but I know that Mondays, because at the market is Mondays are quite really active. On weekends, the market is quite relaxed. But the beginning of the week, markets are quite active. And then also the beginning of the day. No, we won't talk about the day. Okay, let's use week because we have different time zones in the world. Another thing you can do is check. You can check an analysis on where Bitcoin is most traded. So let's say if BTC is most traded in China, check their time. Can you do an FA on that? Where Bitcoin is most traded. So if they're most traded in China, check their time frame, their time zone, and then maybe start the day with their time zone. So you most likely have more activity in the market at that period. But then again, the best time frame depends on the assets you're trading also. But I know, like I said, beginning of the week and the end of the week. Beginning of the week is quite really active, and then during the end of the week it's so active. And then except maybe something extraordinary happens, or maybe there's a certain new news or something. Okay, then someone is saying, okay, airdrop. Okay, oh, you have to answer that. Thank you. All right, so let me just talk about airdrops. Airdrops, give an example. When Binance was listing their coin BNB, they actually started by putting as an airdrop. So some persons, when they signed up on the exchange and did some particular kind of trade or funded their accounts, they got an airdrop. They got BNB in return. Then at that point, BNB was less than $1. Now BNB is over this point, over $30. And so what they did at that point was an airdrop. It's basically giving away a currency, majorly at its beginning stage to users, depending on the task that they perform. So you can see people, new projects that are coming up do an airdrop. So they tell you maybe like our Facebook page or make a tweet or do something, do that. And then when you do those things, you can get the airdrop. You can get the coin. So airdrops are like giveaways for little tasks performed by users for projects. The song says, do you check the trends, support, and resistance in each other? Yes, you can do that. If you said, I showed you how to draw a trend, you have to draw it from 1 week to another. So that's how you do that. Same thing for support and resistance. So do you close trade at the end of the day? You can. When you say close trade, I think that's more on the forex aspect. But for crypto, it is basically setting your orders, your limit order, and stop limit order. You don't really have to be at the market at that point. What you need to do is understand how the market is going to, then set your orders accordingly. Set your stop limits, set your stop limits accordingly. Set your limit order accordingly. That's how to do it. So whether or not you are in the market at that point, it will self-execute when you're not there because you already set the order. So what we do is come, scalpel, check out how the trends will go, and then we place our orders. So once you place your orders, if everything goes according to how you said, the market, the orders will self-execute themselves. Okay, who else has a question? Okay, so I'm going to share the link. Like I said before, please make a tweet about this class. Taking 3 hours. Please make a tweet about this class. And just say how the class was. What you learned. What you learned. Tag me, tag Binance Africa. Then use the hashtag Binance. So expressing how the class is improving. If you learn something new, you can say what you learned to me. And then you can also become a Binance tutor. You can also, like what I'm doing now, you can do it and train others and teach others. And the important thing is that you stand a chance of earning up to $500. And that's very simple. Then please make a tweet about this class. If there are no questions, I'll be ending the class soon. And then also, if you don't have a Binance account, you can create one with your username for so if you have a question, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be ending the class. Okay, no questions at the moment. All right, thank you very much. If you have any questions, maybe later on, you can ask me. You can tweet it. You can ask me. I'll reply your tweets. I will answer. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of this class. Hope yourself and be here and stay to the end. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so someone is saying, when I first one on Binance, let's see, you need to make transactions before getting referral bonuses. Yes, the reason is because referral bonuses are based on fees. Yeah, referral bonuses are based on the fees. Yeah, so I think I've answered your question. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I hope you learned a lot. I hope you actually do take up the action. So please tweet about the class. If you don't have a Binance account, get one. Send it in there. And then also, if you're already good with trading, you know how to do this. You can sign up to become a Binance tutor at any of the $500. All right, so I'll be ending the class now. Thank you so much. All right, goodbye everyone.